Joining us now is Eric Miller. Eric is co-founder and chairman of Funnovation, of which you've just heard a bit of a story about. Eric, welcome. It's fantastic to have you with us, and thank you so much for coming.
Thanks so much, John. I'm excited to chat with you.
So I've just told our participants the story of the origins and the early progress to date of Funnovation and kind of where it's gone. But I think there's an interesting question that sits at the beginning of your story. Why were you guys a good entrepreneurial team? Did you each bring something different to the table?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there's a couple of things I'd like to highlight in terms of the team that we formed. Really, at the core was the fact that we had complementary skills. So there were four of us that started the organization. We had kind of the creative, crazy inventor. We had the engineering discipline of an amazing engineer that worked at IBM. We had a coder, somebody that could do the software. And then I was the business guy. I brought the sales and marketing and business discipline to it. So I think that's one element was the complementary skills. And then I think perhaps even more importantly is we all had a shared vision. We all wanted the world to smile more. We wanted people to enjoy life. And we were so excited to start a business where we could work together to allow people to smile and have more fun.
That's pretty cool. So you got this thing started and you kind of built it and tested it out in the basement and all that kind of stuff. And then this customer, Oasis Fun Park in Pennsylvania, comes along and says, "Well, we're willing to write you a check for something that doesn't actually quite exist yet." Why were they willing to do that?
What an exciting time it was for us back then. There's two things that I remember about why Oasis Fun Park, and it's Glenn and Julie, the owners. They really, for two reasons, they were ready to write that check for us. Number one is they believed in us as a team. And so they really connected with us founders and knew that we would do the best that we could to create an amazing product. And then I think the other element that, looking back, was a really key benefit was that we were selling one of the first laser mazes in the world. And so presenting that to Oasis and say, look, guys, you're going to be one of the most innovative companies in the world because you'll have one of the only laser mazes in the entire world. So those two reasons, I think they were super excited to write us a check and get us on our way.
Okay, so you got that check and the check cleared. That was the good news, right? And
Yes, it did.
and then what did you do with the proceeds? Let's explore the granularity of this. Where'd that money
Yeah.
go?
So, again, a very exciting time for us, but we had a lot of infrastructure to develop. So that money went towards two key things, really. Number one is marketing. And specifically, we had created a website. We cobbled it together for a few $100s. It was pretty poor, to be quite honest. So we invested in our website. And the second area of marketing we invested in were more trade shows. So we launched the business at this really big trade show. We had great success, and so we decided to invest in that effort more. So that was one, was marketing, and the second thing that we invested in, I'd like to call it kind of manufacturing formalization. We brought the manufacturing from Ted's basement, one of our founders' basement, into our office. And so we invested in formalizing manufacturing, quality control, and being able to scale the manufacturing of the business.
Hmm. And then a few months later, you delivered and you got the final payment. And so, then where did that money go?
So that money went to, again, two key things. One was more marketing, quite honestly. Let's bolster the lead generation engine. Let's get more leads. Let's grow and scale the business. And then the second thing we invested in was to grow the Funnovation team. So we had a couple of key hires in sales and project management so that we could be able to scale the business.
Okay, so many of the participants in this MOOC are at the very early stages of their ventures, just as you were, in 2007, 2008. So you got it going, you built the team a little bit, you did some more marketing, but that was all kind of hoping that you get some more customers, right? So where did the next cash come from?
So the next cash came from two key areas, if you will. So we deliberately knew that in order to scale the business, we had two key strategic goals. One was to get an international sale, so to get a sale abroad to really give us more credibility. And second was to get a big time brand in the industry. So we focused on developing those two elements of the business, which we did over the next few months. We secured Ripley's, believe it or not, which is a famous brand around the world. And we
Yes.
had installs in Norway and in Dubai. So now we were armed with this sales message of, hey, we're a worldwide company. And by the way, we're so good that we're in Ripley's, believe it or not. So certainly you can trust us that we're a great company. So from those two key projects, we started leveraging those into other projects around the world.
And how critical is it for entrepreneurs to be strategic as you were about which customers you get when?
I think it's critically important. When you first get rolling in a business, you have scarce resources, both financially and team wise. So it's really important to stay focused. And by having two strategic things to focus on, we were able to accomplish what we believe were the most important elements at that point to be able to grow our business. So overall, I'd say it's really important to focus on key things that will move your business forward.
So you got Ripley's as not your first or second customer. It came, fairly soon thereafter. But some entrepreneurs would say, "Oh, I want to get the big guy as my first customer." You chose not to do that. Why?
Well, we deliberately went after the smaller operators because they make decisions more quickly. It's decentralized decision making, a lot of other kind of terms, but ultimately they can make a decision very quickly and, out of a belief for a team rather than a more formal decision making process. So we were able to get Oasis Family Fun Park, Bananas Fun Park was another early customer and some other ones because they can make decisions quickly. Then once we proved it out and we said, hey, look, Oasis has been operating for 6 months. They've had thousands and thousands of plays. The product's working. People enjoy it. We were armed with that information to go approach the bigger companies. We were valid then. We were believable. And we had a much stronger story to sell.
Yep. So, and if something had gone wrong in there, it's probably better to fail at Oasis Fun
Yeah.
Park that nobody knows rather than to fail at, Ripley's or Six Flags or someplace like that.
Such a great point. Absolutely. We could really get the product to a higher quality and work out the bugs with some of these smaller operators before we kind of burned our bridges, if you will, with the bigger operators while we were learning the kind of the ropes.
Yeah. So the amusement industry's been quite receptive to laser mazes as things, have panned out here, and that's in spite of the fact that 10 years ago there was no such thing. Why is this work so well?